Alright YouTube, we're going to do the zf6 update. It's done. So everything's in. Floor's a little dirty, but it's in. Still have the automatic dash. I didn't change that. But it is done. Everything works other than cruise control because I didn't get around to wiring that. Because obviously on the automatic it goes off of the transmission input and output, which this obviously does not have. There's two wires in there you gotta cut and splice, which I just ain't feeling doing right now. But it is done. I got the custom tunes for it today to straighten out the PCM and whatever else. So we'll start with some of the electrical. Now I'm not too big of a fan of it, but it's what needed to be done. So there's 3 key wires you have to cut and splice. It depends on your truck configuration. So the first wire is this one right here, which I forgot to heat shrink. Mostly the only reason this is here, you can see this is long. I lost the switch for my neutral safety switch on the pedal. These are the upfitter switch wires, which run right down to the pedal, or right down past the pedal. And I was just gonna, I had it hooked up that way, but then I couldn't find my sensor switch plug, whatever you want to call it. So you have to go to the number 4 pin in this first connector, cut it, and splice it and ground it. That will enable the start circuit, which is basically like park. And then there's 2 wires in here, number 3 and number 4, on this plug. Now this is where the configuration comes into play. I have the electronic shift transfer case. So you have to cut the number 4 pin wire and ground it so your transfer case switch will work and it'll switch. And the number 3 wire is for, if you see the red wire, which I ran and zip tied down along the master cylinder for the reverse light switch. And you can just ground it off the plug to the frame so you have your backup lights. And that's about all the wiring you got to do. Like I said, I didn't get to the cruise control wiring. If you have a manual transfer case, you don't have to worry about this. Another thing that came into play with doing this swap is 2 other things. One, the floor hump. Like I said, you got to change the floor hump. You can see it's taller and it's all greasy. The carpet is from my boots from work, which it is what it is. The automatic carpet doesn't sit just right. It is a little off. And I couldn't get it to slide forward after I cut the hole out. There's more than enough carpet to slide it forward to go underneath the shift boot. I just couldn't get it, and I needed the truck, so I threw the seats back in it and said to heck with it. The pedals are probably, I feel, the worst part. Trying to get up in there. Other than that, everything else was relatively easy. One of the other important things is you have to shorten the drive shaft. 1.5 inches is what I had mine shortened on a crew cab long bed truck. You can probably see where the weld's at, up by the transfer case. I had it shortened, new carrier. I lost the rubber boot. It actually tore. For the slip joint, I gotta find a new one, and new U-joints in the drive line. That's basically it. Everything else fit. I made the 4-inch downpipe fit without hammering anything, surprisingly. So everything worked out for the best. Now, me and Michigan Farming were talking. He's having the overdrive light flash on his truck. And we were talking about if he were to zf6 swap his. The 7.3 ZF6 swap really isn't much different than the 6.0. I believe it is the same wires you cut and splice. Don't quote me on that. You got to change the floor hump. It's the same exact truck. This body style, 7360 is the same body style. The only difference is in 05 they got a facelift. And a dash. And some other upgrades, but like a coil spring front and whatnot. But me and Michigan Farming were talking about it. The difference between the 7.3 ZF6 swap and the 6.0 ZF6 swap is the 7.3 ZF6 swap, you have to either switch the hubs of the transfer case to keep your transfer case or find a transfer case, because the 4R100 shaft and the ZF6 shaft are a different spline count. I did come to find out that the 6.0 ZF6 and the 6.0 transmission are the same, because I just used my electronic transfer case. But that's about all there is to it. Now, if you run into the problem I did with the PCM, that I still have the automatic PCM, you have a couple options. One, you can run it as the automatic PCM like I did, but you're going to have a bunch of codes, and it's going to idle high because it's searching for the transmission, but it can't find it. And the tranny temp sensor, which I did wire up to. Mine were pin number 18 and 22 on the trans harness connector, but I don't know if it's the same for the 7.3. The 6.0 and the 6.4 use the same 5R110. The 6.4's is updated, but I believe the pinouts are the same. Maybe not on the PCM, which I'm sure it isn't, but I venture to guess that they're the same on the transmission, but you'd have to look that up yourself if you're going that route. But you have a couple different options. One, run the automatic PCM like I am and get custom tunes. I went through, I can't even think of the name now. It's a place out of Texas. It's a SPD tune. And people are going to laugh when I say this. It's called the Super Panty Dropper tune. It's, I think, 150 horsepower tune. And I got the rev hang and everything to keep boost up between shifts. Now, this isn't a race truck. It's not meant for that. But the 6.0 ZF6s are what you want to call a dog sometimes, especially in the low end. And the way that tune is, I guess, revised for the truck, it is better. I do have other tunes like toe tunes and stuff for it, but that's what it's on right now, just to see how it does. You could take it to Ford and try to have them flash it, but they told me they wanted me to have a manual PCM to carry the data over, but no guarantee it was going to work. So I didn't go that route because that was $125, no guarantee it was going to work. So those are your basic options. The best option I figure is, or your other option is, to get a manual PCM. I have one, but it's out of an 06. They are not the same for 03. Best bet is to get the same year. So that's basically all there is to it. You could probably do it in 2 days if you had everything and you had the time. So that's relatively it. I will get a driving video some other time, but I wanted to explain that out a little bit. It is done. I am using the used clutch and it holds very well. So that's all there is to it. I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.